Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
How fun was Silent Trailers, Chemda?
I gotta say, there's a little bit of nerves before we go live on a game show because there's no control, right? And when we're hosting it and pushing it forward, and giant names with big credits and people that we respect, and then you see everybody having fun, and you see the comments come in, people chiming in. This is the greatest game show ever. Okay, yeah. It's coming back again March 20th. Get your tickets. The tickets are not up yet, but that's how excited I am. Put it on your calendar. And Keith is excited, even though the score isn't exactly what he wanted it to be this time.
Well, they cheated, but all the contestants were great. Baron Vaughn, Mike Cannon, Andy Kindler, Tom Sharpling, Aparna Nancherla. Everyone got into it, which we know they were excited to be there or they wouldn't be there. They have enough going on. But at the same time, like, are they going to give a fuck?
Right.
And they do. And they love it. I do think it's the greatest game show ever made. Chemda knows nothing about movies, less about celebrities. So she's the one that describes a movie trailer, not knowing what she's seeing. And we have to guess what the movie is. And it's a good time.
I always think maybe someone's going to get frustrated at me. But what's funny is, yes, I don't know movies. Yes, I don't know celebrities. But to me, I know everybody's name on the lineup, and those are celebrities to me. I can actually, like, I know that Aparna Nancherla, I know that she's like starring in shit that's coming out, and people are going to know her for all this crazy shit. And me, I'm like, oh my God, I loved you in that one episode, in that one scene with the 3 lines that you had in the show Love. It's so good to see. And that's, to me, the famous person, the person who did the thing that touched me. So it's super fun.
I've noticed this, though. So if you're a VIP member, keithandthegirl.com/VIP, you get your tickets for free. Otherwise, it's not much at all. You go to keithandthegirl.com/tickets. That's where things will be. So because we're getting a couple bucks, we give a couple bucks to the contestants. I'm fairly new to this world of Venmo or Cash App, whatever people use. But do people know that you're an adult now and you're dealing with money? So why is your name not exactly your name? And on top of it, that is not your face. Why are you Baron Vaughn 3? And it's like a picture of a kid. And I'm like, I guess the kid's black. Now I have to follow who you follow. Like, why is it such a to-do? Why don't people take money seriously?
In all fairness, Baron Vaughn was the easiest person on this lineup to find. And he was like the first person to get paid within 24 hours. Everybody else I'm waiting to see, because Aparna, for example, you could find her and there's a blurry picture of her, and it's the only one that just says the name without a number after it. But I'm like, oh, right. If I was, just a regular person, I could be like, yeah, I'm totally Aparna. Here's totally a picture of her. And then when you pay someone on Venmo, you can't get it back. If you pay someone mistakenly, it's over. So it's a little tricky. I know, like, you can confirm it with the last digits of their phone number, but I don't know. It's hard to find. And I hate doing that text. Hey, what's your Venmo? Hey, I'm about to pay you. It would have felt better if you just got money, but instead you got me going, hey, once again, I just want to say you did a great job. P.S. We already did that.
We talked about, I made some Super Bowl bets. And so these people don't live around me. Not that I'm seeing people anyway. And then what? Like, okay, I won over a stupid football game, but now and they go, okay, you won, Keith. Now what's your Venmo? I'm like, what's not important?
It feels like you're sending someone an invoice.
Yeah, give me the money, but it's not important.
What's the best?
It's stupid, but figure it out.
Even better than that is I did someone's show, and then they asked me afterwards what my Venmo is. And I'm like, okay, my Venmo's are easy, so you didn't even try, but that's fine. Confirm it. Mine is @Chemda. Right. And it has my picture. All of it is connected. Still gave it to that person anyway. Never got paid.
Right.
And now do I go like, hey, did you just want my Venmo for funsies? Or like, was I going to get a couple bucks?
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. Anyway, my new Venmo is Elon Musk 008.
And Dogecoin is welcome.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it's only a headline, but Citibank can't get back $500 million that it wired by mistake. After committing one of the biggest blunders in banking history, Citibank won't be allowed to recover the almost $500 million it accidentally wired to Revlon's lenders.
I love that. Can you imagine forgetting to carry the one on that number?
Yeah, Citibank, which was acting as Revlon's loan agent, and again, I don't know what these words mean, meant to send about $8 million in interest payments to the cosmetic company's lenders. Instead, it accidentally wired almost 100 times that amount, including $175 million to a hedge fund. In all, Citibank accidentally sent $900 million to Revlon's lenders. Again, I don't know what this means, but that's a court case and finders keepers.
Yes.
You give it back.
But you don't. That's funny.
But don't.
Yeah.
Why would you? And then you do business later in a board meeting. You're like, hey, about that 900 million. Nope. It's not personal. It's business. That was already settled. Now let's move on and talk about our next business venture together.
Yeah. I guess they have to break ties because they're like, next year's quotas or whatever. And we're like, I think we hit those. Okay?
Put your face on Venmo. I don't want to give money to a platypus. And it would make everyone's life easier. Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest, writer and producer, The Nightly Show, White House Correspondents Association dinner, Women Aren't Funny, the great Bonnie McFarlane movie that we saw. He wrote for that. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? He always figured out question D. Jack Helmuth, how you doing, Jack?
Yo, I'm great. I'm one of Revlon's lenders, so I'm doing great.
Right. Just type in your fucking business. I'm Toyota.
That's great. If you go to a bodega and they accidentally give you like a 20 instead of a 5 and they realize the mistake, like you give the 20 back.
Right.
Yes, but you have to walk through the bodega doors and they might not let you. Whereas Citibank just wired it and is like, I'll get you on the playground. You're like, no, you won't.
Right. Jack's new podcast is called Questionable Material. How you liking it so far?
You know, I love it. It's a great way to spend time and not earn any money, which I was looking for more of those things in my life. But no, it's great. I mean, we've been doing it for like a year and a half now, and we sort of have found our groove. And we like to do, it's a lot of improvised comedy. Like, right from the very moment when we start the podcast like where I dial in on a Skype call and he answers the podcast like, hi, Mel's Diner, can I help you? And right there, we're just improvising. We're just doing bits. It's just nothing but just comedy, man. We don't discuss comedy. We don't like chat. We don't do things. We just want to make people laugh for 40 minutes and be done.
Oh, are you sure you don't want to discuss comedy like a bunch of other comedians who think their job is literally the most important job on earth? And they've said that to my face. And when I say, I don't think so, maybe like we've learned what essential workers are in this past year and you're not one of them. And also it's like, yeah, but it's so hard. You're there by yourself. And I'm like, please, people clap when you're done with your job. Okay. When other people are done with their job, they might get a paycheck. I guess that's when they have one up on you for that. But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I love Godfrey, but he's not essential.
Right. His biggest credit, of course, is being the husband to Betsy Helmuth. Betsy was on fairly recently, episode 3360, Say His Name, where she talked about the bad dealings of one Marcus Lemonis, the dude from The Prophet.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
And long story short, he rips her off. He's treating, it's all a power play. What an egotist. And the balls that he has videos online saying, my number one rule of business, don't be an asshole. I don't like when people are assholes. It's like, well, you are manipulative to the highest level. You're the worst kind of person. And it took Jack, because he's male, to say, hey, pay my wife. Come on. And he went, well, you're a fellow male. Yes, I will. And that's how your wife got paid.
That's right. 70% of her bill, but still, she finally got paid.
Right.
Now, I like, this is the second time that we've had a chance to summarize your wife's experience with this guy to you. Once was in the marathon where I described it, and once was Keith, where he literally used the words manipulative.
Well, thus sort of showing who listens more.
What's that word when a word sounds like what it is? That's what I'm saying. Onomatopoeia of sorts. Yes.
Homophobe?
Yep. Yeah, use a bigger word to describe the word manipulative.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that guy was such a piece of shit. Oh my God. And yeah, and he wouldn't pay her. She saved him so much money. She did, first of all, amazing work. Then wouldn't pay her because he actually moved in and liked it. And then his girlfriend came over and is sort of what we think. And then she didn't like it. So he was like, okay, actually, I don't like it. And then just wouldn't pay her. Just a small business. Like, he's the champ. And that's the other thing, besides, my handshake is my word, his thing,
Right.
whatever that is. The other thing that's so offensive about it is that he's on his show, The Prophet. He's like the hero of small businesses, the champion of the underdog entrepreneur. And he just screws this woman who dedicates 3 months of her life to doing nothing but one human being's apartment. And he's just like, nah, I'm not going to pay you.
Yeah. It's a bit, can you watch that show anymore? You guys were fans.
I love it. It's so good. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's fuck that guy. No, I can.
You got to watch it on your phone in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
no, honey, I'm watching porn.
Right. What are you doing in there? Oh, fucking your best friend.
Yeah, it's okay. But something about small business loans. Gah. Why did I say that?
Oh,
no, we can't. It's too bad because, she only watches sort of garbage reality TV shows, and I watch things that are good. And so it's like that was like one of those shows that, okay, we can sort of come together and watch this show. Yeah. And then he screwed. He lost 2 viewers. So
right. Well, it's a shame when you finally find something out of so much content that's good, and you have to let it go. I'm seeing everything now because of this pandemic. And I'm like, man, they really are saving things, I assume, until theaters open. I just saw Promising Young Woman. It was okay, but it's not like people are saying they're just creaming over this revenge movie. I love revenge. Mm-hmm. I love the idea of a woman pretending she's drunk and guys are going to try to fuck her. And she's like, I'm not really drunk. And she starts eating their penises. That's fantastic. But then I'm like, it's just okay. And everybody, and I'm starved. I don't know if WandaVision is brilliant or I'm just in a weird fucking place.
That's funny. That's really funny. Well, sometimes we choose based on the message that we know the content has in it. Sometimes we choose to love it before we've actually seen it.
Right. I see.
Then we hate it once we see it.
Or we've already decided that we're going to love it, and God help us, we're going to stay in that love it lane because this matches what we believe in, so therefore we're going to love it, even though the content isn't that good.
I'm getting excited about 3D steaks. They say they can print 3D steaks. I'm like, oh, can they? Like, what am I getting excited about? Anyway, what I've been doing, I get the cheap knockoff toner refills, and I just drink it a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, it's like mincemeat. Yeah. I mean, it's not the greatest. It's not the 3D steaks, but it's not too bad.
What is a 3D steak made out of?
Like soy. It's always soy, right?
Right.
Soy and printer ink. And they put it right. It's not getting FDA approval just yet, but a couple bucks. That'll grease anything.
We recently watched because we added Hulu to our selection of TV watching abilities, and we recently watched the thing about OnlyFans. Honestly, just to see if Billy Procida is in there, but he's not. And it was so not the Netflix original. You know what I mean? It was such a soft toss of the ball. Right. And it seemed like one big long commercial for OnlyFans. And Xerxes was like, hey, what they didn't do is they didn't put like the real huge, terrible side of it, which is, yes, you're making money on it, but other people are making that much more, like 10 times more the amount at least that what you're making, because they're stealing content from OnlyFans and putting it on actual porn sites. So when you don't think that you're a porn person or like a sex worker or whatever, they're taking it, putting it on porn sites, actually making even more money than you, and you don't know that that's where your stuff is going. Ooh. Why they didn't delve into that when they were like, this celebrity's on it now, so it's even bigger. And we're like, why is this only fluff? They touched on sex working a little bit, but this, like, if I was watching this, I'd be like, oh, this is a great idea with only touches of bad stuff on it. It was very light for something so giant.
Now, I know VIP members to Keith and the Girl get free tickets to your March 20th show. Mm-hmm. What about like your OnlyFans members? I mean, like, do they get tickets as well? Like, how does that work?
I'm thinking we should start an OnlyFans, and I want to ask the listeners of this show, should we start an OnlyFans? Because they are looking for people who podcast and who do other things. It's not actually only sexual content. It's just extra content. Would you guys want us to do an OnlyFans? Basically like, hey, this is us around our home and what we do and just whatever. I don't know. I guess people request stuff. I mean, I'm not putting my butt on there, spoiler. Maybe I should say that, like, maybe someday I'm going to put my butt. I don't know if that's what you're looking for if you're listening to this show. I don't think so.
Welcome to Fuckfest 2000. Would you like some handshakes? Get out of here, Henda. Get the fuck out of here.
So you don't want to. Okay, Xerxes and I will do an OnlyFans. How about that?
I type in onlyfans.com and there's not skin. I'm filing a formal complaint. No, that's come on.
If this is your way of asking me for dick pics, the answer is yes. You can have them.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Kyle said I
can dick pic, and that'll be our OnlyFans.
Right. Kyle said I can show nudity, but I can't show the dick slit. She said that's mine, and I'm like, okay.
Dick slit.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Some things you do have to keep to yourself. You know.
What's worse, Jack? Yeah. Calling something a dick slit or calling something a poon?
I mean, poon, I think probably is. I mean, dick slit is pretty funny. Poon is just sort of like, it feels like more aggressively mean. Yeah. Dick slit is just sort of like, that sort of is a funny idea.
And this guy's a writer. Yeah. Yeah. One of us meant it. You know what I mean? That's the difference, Jack. After we did silent trailers, we went on Stereo, that app, you know, and you can go to stereo.com/Keith Malley or /Henda, and you'll see what's going on right there. It's a fun way to do shows. People can interact. We play messages. And after we talked for a while, Henda signed out. And then it automatically connects you with somebody else. And I was automatically connected with this guy. So we're doing a show all of a sudden. And you can hear it at, you know, again, sign up through Keith and the Girl, or what is it? Stereo.com/Keith Malley. And you could see the show that is right there that we just did for like 25 minutes or so. He hates single mothers. And if you're a single mother and you're offended, like, well, he explains. You have to hear all sides. This Stereo app is fucking nuts. This is nuts. I thought the very first time Henda went on there, she's partnered with somebody and they happen to bring up the Israelites. I thought they always were called Black Israelites, but I guess you just say Israelites. Mm-hmm. And they're the real Jews and they want Henda's people dead. And Henda says that when this person brings up what are the Israelites? Well, they want me dead. And the guy goes, okay, well, I'm just doing my research. Are they legit? Yeah. This is the greatest app of all time. If you can, it's like the the swipe right of podcasts, but you just turn it on and you're just there, and people it's like you just put a microphone in somebody's house and said, do a show, and then they do it, and you hear it. That's Stereo, and it's fan-fucking-tastic. And you go to stereo.com again /Keith Malley or /Henda. Make sure you follow us. You'll see anytime we do one of these stupidity things. It's amazing. I love it. I wake up in the morning, I turn on Stereo. I'm like, what idiot's talking today? It's fantastic.
Wow, that's a hell of an endorsement. And they're the only group, right? The Israelites. They're the only ones that want Hemda's people dead, right? That's the only.
I mean, on a Tuesday. Come Wednesday, we have other things going on.
Got it. Okay.
Noted. Okay, but what is but KKK had to start from an honest place. What was that? Did it get perverted over the years? You know, it's like, what? You said these things and you have a family. It's fantastic. I'm very excited. Today's going to be a great day. A lot of fun things to talk about. And I'll tell you what made my day. I knew it's going to be a good day. I'm getting onto the subway, leaving Kyle's, and I almost missed the subway doors. So I'm moving just a little faster and I slide from all the slush and snow of people's feet on and then my other foot catches the door because I slid.
Really? Like a Fonzie Dukes of Hazzard type of move.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's going to be a great fucking day. I mean, I can't think of anything better. Waking yourself up out of a dream by laughing. I don't know. That is the greatest way to start a day. And I don't think this could go south even if I tried.
Wow. What a great way to think about it, because I would be like, well, that's the good part of today. What's coming next?
Right.
It's weird. I started my day with a triple blowjob, but I guess your way is better.
Right. This reminds me of I was talking
Nothing
about
could be better.
Jim Florentine was on, and he says, people go to Costco and they act like that's a fun outing. I go, you know what? I go to Costco. I think it is a fun outing. I'm like, look at the deal I have. I Tetris my cart just so that everything fits there. The way I work the samples, forget about it.
Yes.
I'm making a full sandwich in 3 aisles. He goes, oh, that's fun. I thought what fun to me is 2 chicks blowing my balls and 2 other chicks sucking my acorn head. I'm like, I didn't know those are my choices. Well, no, I guess Costco's not so fun. I got WandaVision's kind of dumb now. No, I didn't know the fucking choices that I had.
That's a tremendous story. That's tremendous that you made your train.
Yeah. Oh, it's fascinating. I was way too thrilled. Now I missed my stop because I was so happy, but I made it.
There it is. Something bad has to happen. That's amazing.
Woof.
What, you didn't break your leg just because you were trying to catch a subway?
I was busy texting all my friends what a great day this was going to be, and they ended up in Staten Island. The train doesn't even go there. Anyway, my shift continues later today. I'm actually a train conductor now. Long story. Hemda got an email from a guest of Keith and the Girl. And this person, a past guest, says, "Hi, Hemda. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you would be able to take down my episode of Keith and the Girl."
Oh,
yeah. I've been dealing with this weird stalker who kept calling my family and found my old address. So I'm trying to take down all old podcast eps where I talked about them and their personal information. Thank you so much. Best. The person's name.
wow.
Now, luckily, I'm in a good mood today. So this won't come off so mean. No, of course, we're not taking it down. But do guests understand how fucking offensive that is to the host? If it was Letterman, would you ask him? If it was a Howard Stern interview, would you ask him? If not, then it's offensive because you don't respect what you were just on. You know we give a shit about mic checks in person and over Zoom. You know we did our research about you and what you're about. You know we were engaged the whole time. And you're the only one who talked? I had other fucking thoughts, but now they're just gone. Because maybe you alluded to your family in some way. Being so lazy, you didn't even check. I don't even like when they say, can you take out when I talked about my grandma? And I'm like, no, because that's intertwined to callbacks and stuff. And you're the one who did the callbacks. So now I'm going to take out a section and the show will just sound stupid. And you don't even care, by the way? Would you edit your stand-up show that way? This is so stupid. It's so fun. And by the way, the guest has a movie coming out. I thought we would talk to her again soon. Hemda said, oh, this person reached out. I'm like, oh, yeah, that'll be fun to talk to her. She wants to talk about this movie. The movie, the character seems like it's her that I see on Instagram. Into drugs, promiscuous. Are you going to ask them to take down the movie? Because you don't want to look You have a stalker that, of course, is into you on social. Not, of course, I mean, that they should be, but that they are because you're leaving these sexy videos out there. Yes, do it. And yes, the guy is wrong, but you don't stop that. We had a guest say,
hey, can I just specifically, I looked at this person's social media because they said specifically take down the show because of personal information. Every single photo is personal, and you have a photo of your family. And, when you take a picture, so Xerxes said something like this, like when you're looking at these kinds of photos, you might be looking at them in their house because they need to be in a safe space. So now there's tags on your photos that you don't recognize. There's ways to find out exactly your address just based on your name. This is ridiculous. Also, if you're being stalked, you're still posting photos. And did you get in touch with a podcast and not the police?
Right.
And did the police tell you to contact every podcaster to take it down? And also, they found your family, but they might find what? Their favorite lollipop through my show? Their favorite lollipop flavor, and that's what they show up with? Like, this is not a threat on your life. My podcast is not a threat on your life. That it didn't already exist and already got the information. Might even be behind a paywall at this time. Not that stalkers can't pay for that, but this is not evidence in a crime.
Right. So this, I'm checking like what year this show was. It's like around episode 3000.
Also, if you see episode whatever number missing from our feed, that will become the #1 most looked for episode because it's gone, and that's controversy. And now somebody has it because it's like hundreds of episodes ago. Somebody has it downloaded, and now it'll be the one that's really floating out there.
And it's always the button pushers too. Like this is what I was starting to say. Another guest said like, "Oh, I'm afraid about things I talked about my ex on your show, and I'm a little scared of him. Could we delete that show?" And I go, "Delete your Twitter. You had thing after thing about this ex. Delete that." Now, no, that's your art, but fuck us. What the fuck? Yeah, again, I'm just saying, yeah, a number's missing. We number our shows. You know, that only makes it weirder. It would only draw attention. You know, I told my brother, Ken, when we did Daddy Issues, the spinoff show in your VIP package, talking about my dad. And I said, give it time to think about it. I'm not pressuring you to do it. And thank God we did. It's hilarious. But I said, I don't want you to have a change of heart and be like, oh, I got too personal about that. I don't care if one of the siblings makes you feel bad. Dad's going to die. Assume that he's dead. Now are you being an asshole? all this stuff. Think about it, because I don't want to be put in a bad position.
Because I will not take this episode down, even though you're my brother.
Right. And I don't like, we have a guest on, then they happen to know my girlfriend, let's say, which has happened multiple times. Now we get personal with the guest, and the guest is like, oh, what? I wish you'd take this down. And then I go, no. And then there's some weird fight. I know I'm half making things up, but now there's a weird fight with me and my girlfriend. What the fuck is wrong with people? Can you take it down? It's so selfish, and it's not even thinking. And again, it's offensive. Shame on you.
I look.
By the way,
I feel like
I had that message from Keith. Just I turned on Siri, so I'm just gonna hit send on that email. Thank you so much.
Right.
Well, look, I feel like this is kind of a passive aggressive way of chiding me for the last time I was on your show, and I said I was going to blow up St. Patrick's Cathedral, and then I texted you to say, please take it down. I don't want that out there. And then look, you don't have to drag our stuff out into the public eye. Just ask me not to do that.
Right.
You know what? Chris D'Elia didn't even take down his old podcast. He says
that's funny.
There's no such thing as teenagers. They go from 14 to 36 years old. You know why? Because he's a professional.
Oh, come on.
This is the show where we defend Chris D'Elia.
Oh, Keith, can you take this episode down, please? I don't like that one joke.
I look at show notes of this, the person that emailed. They're explaining how they regularly fend off creeps while pursuing a comedy career. This is a couple years ago. Then it's always going to happen. Keith and the girl didn't do it.
Welcome to Chris Harrison Did Nothing Wrong. I'm your host, Keith Malley.
Right. The gang discusses.
We're good, Keith.
Okay.
Yeah, please stop.
All right. But if I want to talk about Time Magazine's Person of the Year honoring murdered journalists, deleted, because that was part of that show. Deleted. I got a little too wily that day, Keith. Delete it, please. It's offensive. Don't ever go on somebody's show. The only way I could think maybe you can try, if you have some kind of rapport with the host, is as soon as the show is done. And don't even expect that to be okay, because so many things are live now too. But as soon as the show's done, fuck, hey, I took a note during the show. Is it okay if we take out this guy's last name? I don't know what I was thinking. I'm a fucking idiot. Feel free to kick me in the cunt. Then maybe that.
We have responded pretty well to kick me in the cunt.
Right. But I'm thinking of a couple other people right now. And we know a woman, very, very funny, very political, pushes buttons. Absolutely. Every time at the end of she won't be on again. Every time at the end of the show. This is like the
silent trailers of episodes. Yeah. Okay. Go.
Every time at the end of the show, and she was on a couple times, she goes, oh, can you take this part out?
Yes. And we haven't taken anything out of her episodes.
Yeah. And like, then don't say it. And then you're on the Daily Show or whatever being controversial. It's like, now it's okay. Interesting. That just means you don't respect us. And you do, or you wouldn't have done the show. So explain it to me. It's rude. And I don't like it. And I don't like it either.
So do you think this is how she will find out your answer?
No, I'm going to delete it. No, of course not. Who knows? I don't know. Because we decided we're not going to email back.
Oh, okay. See, well, this is how she might find out.
And then Kyle said, like, well, you're going to have to, like, what are you going to do, though, if she follows? I'm like, I don't know. But right now, I'm not even thinking about it because we don't have to. When somebody emails you silliness, it doesn't make you beholden to them.
Also, when somebody emails you anything, I don't owe you an email back because you emailed me. No, that's not even how texts work. You get charged when you text out. But if somebody decides to text you every word of a sentence as a different text, that's their problem.
Right. Right. And that leads to this. BetterHelp. Better H-E-L-P. It's therapy. Talk to them. Ask them what to do.
Actually, that's it. That's no shit. I come to my therapist through BetterHelp, and I sometimes come with notes because I'm like, I actually don't know if this next move is me just trying to manipulate the future or if it's me doing the right thing about this issue. And he helps me work it out.
BetterHelp.com/KATG. That's where you go. BetterHelp, HELP.com/KATG. Get the help you need. Get the therapy you need. Come on.
Otherwise, you're sending out these messages.
Right.
What? Run it by someone else.
Stop stalking comedians, guys. Come on.
And yeah, no matter what side you're on in this situation, pick up a phone for God's sakes. Here's a special offer. Get 10% off your first month when you go to betterhelp.com/KATG. Ken is digging it. My friend Craig just joined it and is digging it. I think you will too.
I've said this before, but after the first time of just sort of relieving yourself of information that you might not even know is beating on your head, just kind of confessional style going blah, 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 blah. That's it. If you never even speak to that therapist again, you put something out and it's different in your head than it is once you start speaking it. And you'll have that difference without telling it to your mother, who will then throw it back in your face, or your brother who will, think you're always thinking this when you've like moved past it or whatever. It's this own entity that has to keep your secrets. So let it out. Try it once, really. BetterHelp.com/KATG, and that /KATG gets you that discouount. So use it.
It's nice that you have a sponsor that you guys actually care about. It's not like it's like ExxonMobil. Like, it's nice that you guys actually care. Like, you guys are passionately talking about this company. It's nice.
I really use it every
I know you
week.
do, clearly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call up today and be like, the problem with guests, they're people. now you go. And then as a therapist, they have to say something. No, I understand that I give up on things easily. Like, for example, before I took the subway, I was going to take a car and I'm calling Uber and they go, I've arrived. And I'm looking outside for the car and it's not there. Now, right there, I'm not searching for a fucking car. I'm paying too much for the car. What kind of princess am I anyways? And so I text back. I go, I don't think that's true. Do you want to cancel?
Nice.
Just cancel. Who gives a shit anymore? Okay, we'll start with somebody new. And they give an address that's not correct. And I go, no, but it's okay. Cancel. Just can't do it. Cancel.
It reminds me of guests where it's like, okay, it's 5-10 minutes after your call time into the show. I'm calling you. And what's fun about a lot of guests is if you are actually dialing their number and they're picking up, they forget how to, think for a second before they speak. So it's like, oh my God, I'm walking my dog. I totally forgot. Holy shit. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, I could be there in 45 minutes back in the day and I'm like,
right.
I think we'll be close to done by then. Cancel.
Right.
Wow.
What bothered me most is that the guy did charge me and I have no problem fighting charges. And I go into the Uber to fight the charge and I click the button that says, this is bullshit. And I'm ready to type out what just happened. And then it goes, no problem. You use us enough. Here's your money back. And I'm like, no, I wanted to say this guy's a little scam artist.
Yeah.
You're taking away the fun. It wasn't just a misunderstanding. He didn't have the number. I said, it's okay. Let it go. Like, Henda was telling a story where she called Hulu and couldn't figure out how to see that Britney Spears documentary.
The all important. It is a documentary.
Right. And it is, I had troubles. I had to go to FX. I had to look under New York Times Presents. It wasn't easy. And so Xerxes, how mellow is this guy? If his voice bothered you, that'd be the reason. And he goes, hey, I'm trying to find this, Britney documentary. Well, but I can't find it on Hulu or FX. I'm not sure where to go exactly. And she goes, first of all, you don't have to come at me like that. Now, right there, I'd be like, well, now it's just a game of telling you how to lick my balls because you don't have my personal information. And eventually I'm just going to hang up and move on. Like, how do people continue after that? You just said you're going to kill me. Oh,
BetterHelp.com/KATG.
I'm telling you. I try not to let people stress me out. The only people that can stress me out is Henda in work or my girlfriend. And other than that, I'm not letting anything else stress me out or make me nervous about things that are going on.
Wait, is this your new philosophy, or did you make it through 4 years of Trump with that attitude?
Right. It helped me. I'm like, seriously. Hey, what could I do and what can I do? Yeah, it did help me.
Can you imagine this is the guest list of life that I'm on now? People you get to annoy.
Right.
Keith Malley. Oh, and by the way, in order to annoy him, good luck, because he's not that easy. You got to poke a lot. You got to really come at it, You got
my girlfriend, tell me if you can relate being married, Jack, but either of you, of course. She'll text me on the phone, Kyle, and then ask a question that needs an answer. I'm going over to her house last night. Hey, do you want to pick up food at such and such a place? Then I go to text back, and apparently she just threw her phone out the window because that's the end of communication. And then it's like, hey, I just guessed that shit. She says, go to Baskin Robbins and maybe get me a pralines and cream with sugar cone, but come on the side ice cream in the dish. Now, don't worry that there's no please or anything. She's not being out of line. But I go, where's Baskin Robbins? And then she said, salted caramel cone with sugar cones. Yay. And then I go, now this is the worst thing. I go, a pint? A big carton? My nightmare is trying to guess how people sell things. How many cones? No comment. Phone's out the fucking window. I go to Baskin. I don't know what to do with Baskin. I bought a franchise. I don't know what I'm supposed to fucking do.
See, okay, these are the things that stress Keith out.
Yes.
It's not like regular shit. You were 5 minutes, 10 minutes late to a meeting, an hour late. You could be an hour late to a meeting. I don't think I've ever seen Keith be mad at someone being late, or let's say me and Kyle late for a 5-minute whatever. But this, what ice cream? How am I supposed to know?
Right. So, okay, either of those. What is sugar cones? It's not a grocery store. What is get sugar cones? What the fuck does that mean? So I get that. So they have pralines and cream in a big fucking thing in their refrigerator. I take that and I go, do you sell cones? Like, I'm ready for the clerk to laugh at me. Right. Of course we sell cones, idiot. They come in 5-10 packs. They don't. And I'm like, do you sell sugar? Like, how many sugar cones? They don't know either. I'm like, I don't know. And I give this look like it's going to help me. Like, I don't know. The boyfriend idiot pack. I don't know. They're like, well, however many you want. And I go, 4? No, they're like, I don't know your family. Yeah, 4. You may have 4.
But didn't she just
and then they go, how much? What's the code for 4 cones? I'm like, yeah, it's not a thing. So I give my 4 fucking cones, right? So I give this to Kyle, and she sees the big tub. That worked out. Then one of the kids wants a cone. Like, I have a cone, she has a cone. One of the kids wants but a bunch of people eat cones. And then somebody says, hey, can I have a cone? And she goes, Keith only got 4. And I'm like, it's not time for jokes. It's like little Benny, her kid got busted, like breaking into an empty apartment. And then he made like a joke that night. And she goes, we're not ready for fucking jokes about you being a badass. It's not funny right now. That's the thing with these fucking cones. Because this has to be a joke, or you're a bitch. So I know it's a joke. But why do you think it's funny? You don't know the stress I went through?
Do you see what a great relationship they have where this is like you are ready to be married because
Yep.
this is the hardship in your relationship. You are solid. Just so you know, I'm not belittling this troublesome
I
thing,
picture
but
somebody listening, maybe kind of the way you're saying this, and it's like, I wish my girlfriend's fucking all my friends. You have it so tough. Then it would be clear cut. My girlfriend is fucking my friend. This is trouble, and I can act accordingly. Not you're perfect, except what the fuck? That's my text printed out, by the way. What the fuck? If I picked up my phone, I'd rip it in half, and it's expensive. What is this?
that reminds me, and I know it's not exactly the same, but if I go to Starbucks, I'm like, Xerxes, what do you want? And usually he gets the plain like black coffee. If it's winter, it's hot. If it's summer, it's cold. But every once in a while he goes, get me the vanilla bullshit. And I'm like,
right.
I know that I'm not going to go there and there's going to be on the menu vanilla bullshit. And he's like, come on, you know what you want. And he's one of the times he goes, I bet you if I say vanilla bullshit, I'll get a cup of vanilla bullshit. And he did it and he got a cup of vanilla bullshit. And you know what? Everyone just thinks he's cool. Like, that's it. Like, if it's coming out of Xerxes, it's like, well, sure, one vanilla bullshit coming up. I'm like, how are you getting away with this?
I go, I'm at the store. What would you like? She goes, oh, can you pick up bagels? And I go, okay, what kind of bagels? Whatever. Ugh. A. B. I go, you got to tell me. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I need to know what kind of bagels. She goes, Lender's bagels. I go, they don't have that. Do you want whoever the fuck bagels? She goes, no. I'm like, what did that? What did be? Did that? Now, you're not a whatever person, sweetheart. So say what the fuck you want and do the world a favor.
Okay, so what would happen if you came home with the bagel that, like she said, whatever? You come home with the bagel.
She'd say thank you. She wouldn't be an asshole about it. But then it's not the right bagel, and I'll find it a month later all moldy, or she'll throw it on. Like, just help us help each other.
Yeah.
Tell us about Betsy, because we all fell in love with her, but there's got to be some.
Oh my God! Well, there's lots. I mean, where do we start? Well, first of all, here's something. Every time I got it, speaking of going to the stores for your loved ones and getting texts, every time I go to the grocery store, because I'm the only one in the family who goes to the grocery store. That's just one of my jobs.
Right.
Like, she asked me, it'd be one thing, like, get some chicken breasts and a carton of milk and some Oreos or whatever. Great. Right. I know we're listening. She's always asked me, like, like that Chilean spice rub? Like, no, I don't. I don't know what that is. I don't know where to find it. Like, like her list is nothing but like, seaweed and all these things. Like, I don't know what the fuck that stuff is. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. Like, I wouldn't know where to begin. So every time I go to the grocery store for her, it's like an hour and a half to get like 8 items, because like, just go to the grocery store if you're going to get all your weirdo stuff. Can you pick up some alkaline water? I bought 2 batteries in a Poland Spring. What the fuck? Why do you act like this is normal shit?
We usually go to the supermarket together, but the other day he went for me to pick up. I was in a mood. I just wanted sushi from the grocery store, nice and simple. He knows where the rack is for it, but I'm like, you can't just buy it for me. I need you to take a picture, and then I will circle the ones. And then he's funny. He's like, yeah, I know. I don't know anything from sushi or what you like. And he doesn't eat any fish, so we never eat sushi together.
Right.
So it's so rare. But then, you got to wait a second. You send a picture to someone, and he's like, so which one do you want? I'm like, I don't know. I'm browsing the aisle. So yeah, it does take like so much more time.
Forever.
By the way, I'm sorry. When she said sugar cones, she did. I gave her the cones. She goes, oh, I wanted the other kind of cones, but that's okay. Oof. As if that's supposed to help me know for next time. Yes. But fuck you. You wrote sugar cones. So you probably meant the waffle cones. I don't fucking know. And I didn't even care. You know what? I go, I don't care. I said, I don't care. These are your fucking cones. Eat them now. I made her watch. I made her eat dry cones, just staring at her.
I think that I'm like really cool about it. But the other day I was like, you know what? I am sick of choosing what to eat. I'm sick of making it. I'm sick of the whole process. Like, I don't want to have that decision making anymore. The next day he's like, what do you want to eat? I go, holy shit. And so he goes out, he get fried chicken. I'm just like, fuck. I don't want fried chicken. And now I know why I'm always the one to choose, because he'll say, I don't give a fuck and mean it. And I say, where's my vegetables? This isn't fried chicken day. And so
right.
I think that's how sushi happened. So
I'll she'll go through
Understood.
Netflix and be there for 6 hours before we finally settled on Promising Young Woman. But it starts with, what do you want to see? At this point, I go, baby, I love you. You know, it doesn't fucking matter. So scroll through everything for half an hour, and then I'll give my 2 cents. Oof. Well, no, it's really what you want. But what if we look at mysteries first? Yes, baby. What if we look at mysteries first? Jack, do you know what you were saying? I got heated.
No, I love that you got heated. It's good podcast. Well, you reminded me of another story, since you asked to tell stories about Betsy. From this is like a week ago for Valentine's Day. My son, my 9-year-old son, comes up to my wife, and he on Valentine's Day night, they're getting ready for bed, and my son says, "Daddy, Mommy, are you and Daddy gonna have sex tonight?"
oh
And
oh my
and
god,
like, he could have asked her on 364 other nights of the year, and the answer would be no. But he chose the one night where the answer is yes. And she answers him honestly. She's like, yes, we are. Right. So interesting choice to tell our 9-year-old we're going to be doing it at 11:30.
And then they play high-low.
11:30.
I mean,
yes, exactly.
So I gotta ask, was that the end of the conversation? He's like, okay, and he writes it in his diary. Like, what happens afterwards?
Well, then he shames himself. He flogged himself and went to bed with knowing that he comes from a dirty lineage.
I wonder if it came from, who knows? Could it have come from kids talking, or something on TV where it's like people have sex on Valentine's Day and not even knowing what it is? Or does your kid know what sex is?
Well, we've talked a little bit about sex. We're just sort of like, honestly, like, we're at a restaurant and they asked about it. And so we just decided, this is like the week before the quarantine started. And so
they're about the same age, right? Your kids? Yeah,
at 8 and 9. Okay. So yeah, so it was a year ago. So they were 8 and 7. So they asked, and we're like, all right, I mean, do you want us to tell you in the lobby of an Outback? Sure. Okay. So the sperm and the thing, and you put your penis in, and they were just like, oh, what the fuck? And like, forever that will have happened in the Outback in Yonkers.
Right.
Where they learned about sex. And so like, they've had questions about it, and they've, like, as they've seen more popular culture and like kissing on TV and movies, and, you know, where they're not watching cartoons, they're watching, you know, Uncle Buck or whatever, or like, you know, some more mature things are happening. They're starting to put some things together and ask, you know, questions that would make a parent squirm.
Right.
So in 9 months, he's going to ask you where his new sibling is.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's like, why didn't you just finish on her tummy so I wouldn't have to babysit this kid? And I'm like, Jack, how do you know that? How do you know about that?
See, when I first found out about sex, I was like, ooh, mom took 3 for the team.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, what a bad design that is. I got to rethink this having kids thing.
It is weird to think my mom had sex with my dad 5 times. It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
But I just thought sex in general, I'm like, who does what to you? And that's how a miracle happens? Holy shit. Like, you don't think of people's bodies coming together like that. I just was so grossed out by the whole thing. I had no idea it would be pleasurable.
I thought the miracle was that mom let dad live with her. I didn't know there was more. Oh, well. Check this out, the Stereo app. You can engage with us. We're going to be on there. Go to stereo.com/Keith Malley or stereo.com/Hemda, and you'll see what's going on. We'll schedule a show. And you want to do it again Wednesday, Hemda?
Yeah, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's stuff that you're not going to hear on the podcast. And we also take some stuff down after you listen. So listen live. And if you don't catch it right away. Because Keith randomly went in with someone. I've gone in with Mike Kaplan and with also that roulette wheel with the Israelites and a bunch of other people. Right. So catch it stereo.com/Hemda or stereo.com/Keith Malley. And you're doing it like if it's a vote, and we see your votes. I see.
Yeah.
I see who knows how to spell Hemda and who knows how to spell Keith Malley. Shout out to international people.
Download the podcast, Questionable Material. This fucking guy, I mean, you hear me ripping papers and wrinkling them. I got 50 pages of notes in front of me. This guy, Jack, he's like, I'm going to make a fucking phone call. And we're going to see where this ship sails. And it's a good time. Do you get nervous? Or you go, hey, we're naturally funny. Who cares?
No, I don't get nervous. I mean, like from being a kid, in the, I'd be in Saturday Night Live sketches back when I worked at Saturday Night Live from like 97 to 2000, like as Steve Higgins' assistant, whatever. And you'd go and like, as a 23-year-old, I was like an extra in sketches and stuff. And it's like, that's 8 million people where if you fuck up, you fucked up in front of, like, you've ruined, an institution. And like, you get used to like perform, like, when I was on the Nightly Show, whenever like they need like an evil white guy, play what you love. Like, they'd have me do it, and I'd say a bunch of dumb racist stuff and tell jokes and whatever. And so you like, you're so nervous right before it starts, and then the second it starts, it's so exhilarating that that you just ride the fun wave. So I don't doing the podcast now. I don't necessarily get nervous.
It is funny on the Nightly Show. Excuse me, you were usually a cop or some kind of like it's like, hey, we need a guy who can play a fucking asshole.
Get Helmuth. Yeah, that's what it was.
Get the fucking asshole face in here. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I was wearing a Confederate hat in one sketch. I was busting Larry's desk as a cop as another. I mean, like every horrible racist piece of shit you could ever have, I've played it, and I've nailed it.
Did you get true reactions from that outside? Because I remember like even in the 80s, you would hear about people who watch too many soap operas and then they see that person in real life and it's like the bad person on the soap opera. People have thrown stuff on people because they were the bad person in the show. So they just are like, oh, you killed my favorite character, and they'll throw something at them. Did you get any real life responses?
Well, I mean, like one time.
Also, when you Google you, I bet there's a Confederate flag on you at some point, right?
Well, fortunately, that was just like one sketch we did, and it wasn't like that sketch didn't blow up. So that, I mean, it probably is out there somewhere. But I mean, the only time I can ever remember anything like that happening is I was outside, and this group of kids were walking by, and I was setting fire to a cross, and they're like, "Hey, you're that racist," and I'm like, "No, guys, that's just a character I play on TV." I'm just kidding.
There's no cameras.
No, I've never gotten, I'd sometimes after the show, I would walk and the crowd would still be outside, like lingering outside the studio. I'd be walking home and people would say like, "Hey, it's the cop, look out for that guy." Oh, but it's stuff like that. But they knew, they seemed to know that it was good fun. What was funny sometimes is you would do sketches like that and the audience would be like, they'd be so disapproving of your horribleness that they wouldn't laugh at the jokes. Where it's like, well, we're satirizing this type of person. They're like, oh, we don't like this. We don't like it when Donald Trump says, sexist things. So we're not going to laugh. Like, no, we're making fun of him. It's okay.
They don't want to be Googleable in the audience. That's
right.
what it's all about.
Right. Once every 3 weeks, you turn the camera around and you don't want to get you don't want to be associated with that filth.
Right.
But no, fortunately, I've never gotten that's an interesting question. I've gotten recognized like 5 times in my life on the street, and it has not been for that.
It's not been for that.
It has not been for like being a racist piece of shit.
I'm just saying. That's just, I see. Okay. And I just almost sounded like something worse or something, Jack has the podcast questionable material. You want to download it. And that's all I can tell you about that. All right. Love to your family, your little perverted family. Are you having sex tonight? I never.
Yeah, we sure did, baby. And thank you to you guys. Like you guys really introduced me to the world of podcasting, like in all seriousness. Like you guys are the model for how everything is done. I mean, like actual trailblazing and actually like being cool and funny and having interesting conversations. And like, I mean, you guys are the mold. I mean, like everything's just a copy from that. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you how much I respect and like you guys. So just thank you for being thank you for being that. It's like really awesome. You guys did it.
Well, shit, Jack, now we can't delete this show.
Right. Hey, I'm working for Disney now, and I need to know that stays in forever. Yeah.
That's a fair point. Anyway, I love you guys. You guys are really awesome.
Well,
Thanks, you're awesome.
All right. Join us Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on the Stereo app, and we'll talk to you soon.
KeithAndTheGirl.com